Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. If you woke up this morning, if you opened your eyes, if you took that breath of air, then God gave you another chance, another shot at life, another opportunity to chase the dream that's been sitting in your heart for years. See, here's the problem. Too many people wake up but never get up. Too many people let that alarm clock ring, roll over, and hit snooze on their destiny. You don't just need to wake up in the morning, you gotta wake up to life. You gotta wake up to your gift, your talent, your purpose. Because if you don't, that dream you're carrying will never see daylight. Let me be real with you. Success is not convenient. Dreams are not comfortable. Nobody ever made it big by taking the easy road. If you're chasing a dream, you better prepare yourself for long nights, early mornings, rejection, failure, and plenty of people telling you that you can't do it. And you know what? That's the best part. Because when they tell you no, that means God's preparing a bigger yes. I know this because I lived it. I wasn't born into wealth. I wasn't born into success. I was broke, homeless, and sleeping in my car. I was struggling to eat. And yet I held on to my gift. I held on to my dream. Because let me tell you something, your dream is worth the struggle. Your dream is worth the sacrifice. But here's the catch. Dreams don't work if you don't. You can't pray for a blessing and then sit on the couch all day. You can't ask God for an opportunity and then ignore the grind that comes with it. Faith without works is dead. You want the house, the car, the freedom, the peace of mind, then wake up and go chase it like your life depends on it, because it does. Listen to me, you were created for more. Stop living at the level of average. Stop being okay with mediocrity. If you've got a dream, if there's something burning inside of you, you owe it to yourself and to God to get up and go after it. And don't wait for everything to be perfect, because it never will be. Start where you are, use what you've got, and trust that God will meet you halfway. You don't need all the answers. You don't need everybody's approval. All you need is the courage to take that first step. Every dreamer has one thing in common. They started, they got up, they refused to quit. And that's the only difference between winners and quitters. Winners keep going no matter how many times they fall. So today, I'm challenging you. Stop sleeping on your gift. Stop making excuses. Stop waiting for the right time. The right time is now. Wake up, get up, and chase that dream like your life depends on it. Because the life you want, the future you desire, the purpose you've been called to, it's on the other side of fear. It's on the other side of hard work. And when you finally get there, when you finally look back and see what God brought you through, you'll realize the struggle was the blessing, the rejection was the redirection, and the pain was the preparation. Wake up with purpose. Every morning you open your eyes is another chance. Don't just wake up physically, wake up spiritually, mentally, and emotionally to your calling. Let me tell you something that changed my whole life. The way you wake up determines the way you live. Too many people think waking up is just opening your eyes in the morning. But no, that's just being alive. I'm talking about waking up with purpose, waking up with fire, waking up with the mindset that today is a gift and I'm not going to waste it. See, the first blessing you get every single day is that breath in your lungs. That alarm goes off, you roll over, and the first thing you should recognize is, God, thank you for another shot, because somebody somewhere didn't wake up today. Somebody's dream ended last night. But if you're listening to me right now, that means you got another opportunity. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Most people don't wake up with purpose. They wake up with problems. They wake up worrying about bills, worrying about the job they hate, worrying about who don't like them, worrying about things that ain't even worth their energy. And by the time they get out of bed, the day already defeated them. But if you shift your mindset, if you start your morning focused on your purpose instead of your problems, you'll begin to see doors open you never thought possible. I'll give you an example. Back when I was struggling, sleeping in my car, broke, no clear path forward, I still had to wake up with purpose. I didn't wake up saying, man, I'm homeless. I woke up saying, man, today could be the day somebody sees my gift. Today could be the day I get that break. That hope, that belief, that was my fuel. And sure enough, it was that mentality that kept me moving until opportunities finally started showing up. When you wake up with purpose, you stop wasting time. You don't have time to scroll endlessly on your phone. You don't have time to sit around gossiping. You don't have time to complain about what you don't have. Purpose makes you intentional. Purpose makes you disciplined. Purpose makes you grateful. And gratitude is the gateway to blessing. Now here's the thing. Your purpose doesn't have to be some big world-changing mission right now. Purpose can be as simple as getting a little better than you were yesterday. Purpose could be showing up with a good attitude. Purpose could be giving your best at that job you don't even like because you know it's a stepping stone to something greater. Purpose is not about where you are. It's about where you're headed and the mindset you carry along the way. So many people hit snooze on life. They don't just hit snooze on their alarm clock. They hit snooze on their dreams, snooze on their goals, snooze on their potential. And every time you hit snooze, you're telling God, I don't value this opportunity you gave me. That's real talk. You're telling the universe, I'll get to it later. But what if later never comes? See, when you wake up with purpose, you're making a declaration. You're saying, I don't care how tough yesterday was. I don't care what happened last week. Today I'm going to fight for my future. That's what champions do. They don't let their circumstances decide their attitude. They decide their attitude and let that shape their circumstances. And let me tell you, if you can master the morning, you can master your life. If you can start each day with gratitude, focus, and determination, you'll find that things begin to align. The opportunities, the connections, the ideas, they'll come because you'll be awake enough to see them. So the next time you open your eyes, don't just drag yourself out of bed. Wake up with energy. Wake up with gratitude. Wake up with purpose. Because that right there, that's the foundation of chasing your dreams. To dreams require sacrifice. Success is never convenient. It takes long nights, early mornings, rejection, and sacrifice. If you're not willing to give up comfort, you won't gain greatness. Dreams sound beautiful, don't they? Everybody loves to talk about dreams. I want to be successful. I want to be rich. I want to be famous. I want to live a life of freedom. Sounds good. But let me be honest with you. Dreams come with a price tag, and that price is sacrifice. If you're not willing to give up something, you're not serious about your dream. See, most people want success, but they also want comfort. They want to be extraordinary, but they don't want to stop living ordinary. And that's the problem. You can't have both. If you're serious about chasing your dream, you have to sacrifice some things. Your time, your sleep, your comfort, and yes, sometimes even relationships that hold you back. Think about it. Everybody you admire, every person you look up to, they paid a price. They sacrificed. You don't see the late nights. You don't see the rejections. You don't see the hours of hard work when nobody was clapping for them. All you see is the success story. But behind every success is a mountain of sacrifice. Let me bring it home for you. Back when I was starting out as a comedian, I missed family events. I missed sleep. I drove hours across states just to get 5 minutes on stage. I went hungry some nights because I spent my last dollar on gas to get to a show. That wasn't easy, but you know what? Every one of those sacrifices was an investment in my dream. And when it finally paid off, when doors finally started opening, I realized those sacrifices weren't losses. They were seeds. Seeds that grew into the life I have today. Here's what I need you to understand. If your dream doesn't cost you anything, it's not a real dream. If you can achieve it without struggle, without sacrifice, then you're just chasing comfort. And comfort never created greatness. Comfort never built an empire. Comfort never inspired anybody. You might have to sacrifice sleep. That means while others are in bed, you're up grinding, studying, creating, building. You might have to sacrifice fun. That means while your friends are partying, you're working on your craft, investing in your future. You might have to sacrifice acceptance. That means not everybody's going to understand you, support you, or cheer you on. Some people will call you crazy. Some people will laugh at you. But remember, they don't have your vision. God gave that vision to you, not them. And let me tell you something even deeper. Sometimes the biggest sacrifice is letting go of who you are today for who you could become tomorrow. You can't drag old habits into a new life. You can't expect change while holding on to the same excuses. Growth requires sacrifice. Discipline requires sacrifice. And discipline is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. So if you're out here saying you want success, but you're not willing to wake up early, you're not willing to stay up late, you're not willing to say no to distractions, then be honest with yourself. You don't want it bad enough. Because when you want something bad enough, you'll pay the price. You'll make the sacrifice. Because the dream is worth more than the comfort. Don't look at sacrifice as loss. Look at it as preparation. Every time you sacrifice something for your dream, you're proving that you're serious. You're sending a signal to God, to the universe, to life itself, that you're ready for more. And let me tell you, life always rewards sacrifice. So the next time you feel like giving up, remember this: the struggle is temporary, but the dream is permanent. The pain of sacrifice lasts for a moment, but the reward lasts for a lifetime. Choose your sacrifice wisely, because at the end of the day, you can either sacrifice for your dream or you'll spend your life sacrificing your dream for comfort. Faith plus action equals results. Prayer without work is useless. You can't just ask God for a blessing and sit back. You must grind, hustle, and take consistent action toward your goals. I can't tell you how many people I've met who pray every single day for success, for a breakthrough, for a new opportunity, but then they sit back and wait like God's just going to drop it in their lap. Let me tell you something. Faith without works is dead. You can pray all you want, but if you don't get up and move your feet, if you don't take action, you will stay right where you are. Faith is believing in what you can't see yet. Action is doing something about it, even though you can't see it yet. You put those two together, faith plus action, and that's when you get results. That's the formula right there. Too many people have one without the other. Some folks got faith, but no hustle. Others hustle, but don't believe. You need both. Let me explain it like this. If you pray for rain, you better be willing to till the ground and plant the seed. You can't just stand in an empty field with your arms crossed, waiting on crops to grow. God gives you the rain, but it's on you to do the planting. That's how blessings work. God provides opportunity, but you have to provide effort. When I was starting out, I used to pray for big things. Lord, bless me with a career. Bless me with a breakthrough. Bless me with a success. But I didn't stop at praying. I put action behind it. I got up, I traveled, I knocked on doors, I put myself on stages, even if it was only 5 people in the audience. That was my action. And every time I moved, God moved too. Every time I showed up, He showed out. That's the partnership. Your faith activates His blessing, but your action keeps it alive. Now let me hit you with this truth. Action without faith burns you out. If you're working hard but don't believe it's going to happen, you'll quit too soon. You'll give up the first time something goes wrong. But when you combine action with faith, setbacks don't stop you. They sharpen you. You don't see failure as the end, you see it as part of the process. Think about the dream in your heart right now. You've prayed about it. You've thought about it. But what steps have you actually taken toward it? Have you written the plan? Have you learned the skills? Have you knocked on doors, made phone calls, put yourself in uncomfortable situations? Or are you just sitting there hoping it'll happen one day? Let me tell you something. Hope is not a strategy. Hope is a mindset, and it's powerful, but it has to be paired with movement. Dreams don't chase you, you gotta chase them. And here's the beautiful part. When you start moving, God starts multiplying. You take one step, he'll open 3 more. You push one door, he'll unlock a hallway. But you'll never see that movement if you stay still. Faith is the gasoline. Action is the engine. You need both to get anywhere. And listen, I know it's scary to take action. It's scary to step out when you don't see the full picture. But that's exactly what faith is. Faith says, I don't see it yet, but I trust it's coming. And action says, even if I can't see it, I'm still gonna move toward it. That combination changes lives. So from now on, stop waiting for perfect timing. Stop waiting for somebody to give you permission. You already got permission when you woke up this morning. Faith without action is just a wish, but faith with action, that's destiny, that's breakthrough, that's results. The next time you pray for something, follow it up with work. If you ask God to open a door, get up and start knocking. If you ask him for a blessing, be ready to carry it. If you want success, show him you're willing to grind for it. Because at the end of the day, faith is the key, but action is the hand that turns it. And when you put them together, there ain't nothing on this earth that can stop you from reaching your dream. Start where you are. Don't wait for the perfect time or the perfect setup. Use what you've got, trust your gift, and take the first step. Progress comes from movement, not perfection. One of the biggest lies people tell themselves is, I'll start when I'm ready. Let me clear this up right now. You will never feel fully ready. There will never be a perfect time. There will never be a day when all the conditions line up. All the money is in the bank, all the connections are made, and all the doubts are gone. If you're waiting on perfect, you're gonna wait your whole life and die with your dreams still inside you. You don't need perfect to start. You just need courage. Starting where you are means using what's already in your hand. You may not have the resources, but you got the resourcefulness. You may not have all the education, but you got the drive to learn. You may not have the connections, but you got the hustle to put yourself in the room. Too many people are so focused on what they don't have that they overlook what they do have. And let me tell you, what you have right now is enough to get moving. Think about it. When I was sleeping in my car, I didn't have the perfect situation. I didn't have money, didn't have stability, didn't have a plan B. All I had was a dream and a gift that I believe God gave me, and I used that. I didn't wait until life got easier. I didn't wait until I had security. I took the little I had and made a move. And that's the reason I stand where I am today, because I started when it didn't make sense. Let me give you an example from your own life. Look back at anything you've ever accomplished, no matter how small. Did you wait until everything was lined up perfectly? Probably not. You just started. You made mistakes, you stumbled, you learned along the way. That's how progress happens. Waiting for the perfect time is just fear wearing a mask. See, fear will always come dressed up as logic. Fear says, maybe next year, maybe after I save a little more money, maybe after I get another degree, maybe after the kids are grown. That's fear talking. The truth is, you'll always find an excuse if you're looking for one. But successful people stop looking for excuses and start looking for opportunities, even if the opportunity is small. When you start where you are, you're saying, I trust that God will meet me along the way. And he will. He always does. God doesn't require you to have it all figured out. He just requires you to move. The path reveals itself when you start walking. You can't steer a parked car. You gotta get moving for direction to come. Don't underestimate small beginnings. Too many people despise starting small. They want the mansion before they've taken care of the apartment. They want the audience of millions before they've spoken to the 5 people sitting in front of them. But let me tell you, small beginnings teach you big lessons. Small beginnings build character, discipline, and resilience. They prepare you for the weight of greater success. You may not have the big stage yet, but you got a small one, use it. You may not have the business empire yet, but you got a single product, sell it. You may not have 1 million followers, but you got 10, impact them. Stop waiting for later. Later is not promised. All you have is right now, and right now is enough to get started. So here's the challenge. Look at your life and ask yourself, what can I do with what I already have? How can I take one step forward today? It doesn't have to be a giant leap. Progress is not about speed, it's about direction. One small step every day adds up to massive change over time. The truth is, people aren't stopped because they don't know how to finish. They're stopped because they never start. Don't let that be you. Start where you are. Use what you've got. Trust that once you move, God will meet you halfway. And when you look back, you realize the imperfect start was the most important step you ever took. 5. Winners never quit. The only difference between those who succeed and those who don't is perseverance. Winners keep going no matter how many times they fall or how many no's they hear. The difference between people who make it and people who don't is not talent. It's not luck. It's not connections. The real difference is perseverance. Winners don't quit. They keep going no matter how many times they get knocked down. Quitting is easy. Anybody can quit. But pushing through, enduring, getting back up after failure, that's what separates the average from the extraordinary. See, everybody loves success, but not everybody loves the grind that comes before it. Success ain't instant. It's not some overnight thing. It's a process, and that process is filled with obstacles, rejection, and doubt. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never face setbacks. They're the ones who refuse to let setbacks stop them. Think about it. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. Colonel Sanders got rejected hundreds of times before somebody said yes to his chicken recipe. Even me, when I first started telling jokes, I bombed on stage plenty of nights. People didn't laugh, doors closed, folks told me I'd never make it. But every failure was just a lesson. And I decided that I'd rather keep trying and failing than quit and live with regret. That's what kept me going. Winners see failure differently. To them, failure isn't final, it's feedback, it's instruction, it's part of the process. Every time you fail, you learn something that brings you closer to success. Quitting, on the other hand, guarantees you'll never get there. If you quit, it's over. But if you keep going, there's always a chance, always another opportunity around the corner. Now let's be real. Persistence is hard. There will be days when you feel tired, when you feel like nothing is working, when it seems like your effort is wasted. That's the moment most people throw in the towel. But if you can push through that pain, if you can endure the tough season, you'll find the blessing waiting on the other side. Winners have a no matter what mindset. No matter what comes against me, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many times I fall, I will not quit. You gotta stop seeing rejection as a stop sign. Rejection is just redirection. When one door closes, that doesn't mean the dream is over. It means that wasn't your door. Keep knocking, keep moving, keep believing. The right door will open at the right time, but only for the one still standing when it does. Let me ask you this. How bad do you want it? Because if your desire isn't stronger than your pain, you'll quit. But if your dream means everything to you, if it's burning in your heart, you'll find the strength to keep going, even when it hurts. That's when you tap into perseverance. That's when you discover you're stronger than you thought. I remember sleeping in my car, broke, hungry, and embarrassed. Quitting would have been easy. Giving up would have made sense to most people. But something inside me said, hold on a little longer, push a little harder, one more step, one more try, one more day, and I held on. And eventually the breakthrough came. That moment taught me something powerful. Winners aren't the smartest, the richest, or the most talented. They're simply the ones who don't quit. So here's the truth. If you've been grinding and you feel like nothing is working, don't stop. You may be closer than you think. Sometimes the darkest moment is right before the breakthrough. Don't let fatigue, doubt, or fear make you walk away from the very dream you've been praying for. Keep moving, keep fighting, keep believing, because the only way you lose is if you quit. Winners never quit, and quitters never win. The choice is yours. 6, your struggle is preparation. Every rejection, every setback, every pain is shaping you for your destiny. What feels like a delay is often God's setup for something greater. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking struggle means they're failing. But let me tell you something, the struggle is not the end. The struggle is the preparation. Every challenge, every setback, every disappointment you've gone through is shaping you for where you're supposed to be. You may not see it right now, but when you look back, you'll realize the tough times weren't there to break you, they were there to build you. See, God doesn't put you through pain for no reason. He doesn't allow storms in your life just to punish you. He allows them to prepare you. Preparation always comes before promotion. Think about it. If you want to build muscle, you got to put your body under pressure. If you want to shine gold, you got to put it through fire. If you want a strong testimony, you got to have a real test. That's how life works. I know what it feels like to wonder, why me? Why do I have to go through this? Why is it so hard? I used to ask those same questions. Back when I was broke, when I was sleeping in my car, when doors kept closing, I thought maybe God forgot about me. But what I didn't understand was that He was preparing me. He was teaching me patience. He was building my faith. He was making sure that when the blessing came, I would know how to handle it. See, struggle teaches you things comfort never can. Struggle makes you grateful. Struggle makes you resourceful. Struggle builds character, discipline, and resilience. If life was easy all the time, you'd take everything for granted. You wouldn't appreciate success because you'd have never fought for it. The value of the blessing is in the fight it took to get it. Let me tell you something else. Rejection is not failure. It's redirection. That job you didn't get, that relationship that ended, that door that closed, it wasn't meant for you. Sometimes God has to close a door because it's too small for the vision He has for you. Sometimes He has to let you lose something so you can gain something better. You might think it's a setback, but really it's a setup. And let's talk about pain for a moment. Pain is not wasted. Pain has purpose. The hurt you've been through is shaping your heart, making you more compassionate, giving you wisdom that you couldn't get any other way. Every scar tells a story. Every tear waters the seed of your future. Don't despise the pain. Use it. Let it push you. Let it fuel you. When you understand that struggle is preparation, you stop complaining about it and start learning from it. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, what is this teaching me? That shift in mindset will change your life, because once you see the struggle as a gift, it loses its power to break you. Instead, it starts to build you. And here's the beautiful part. When you finally reach your breakthrough, when you finally step into your blessing, you'll realize the struggle was necessary. Without it, you wouldn't be strong enough to carry the weight of success. Without it, you wouldn't appreciate the victory. Without it, you wouldn't have the testimony that inspires somebody else to keep going. So don't run from the struggle. Don't curse the process. Embrace it. Trust that every challenge is molding you, every delay is protecting you, and every pain is preparing you. One day you'll look back on the hardest seasons of your life and say, that's when I grew the most. That's when I discovered my strength. That's when I learned to trust God fully. And you'll realize the struggle wasn't your enemy, it was your greatest teacher. So the next time life knocks you down, remember this: you're not being buried, you're being planted. And when the season is right, you'll bloom. The struggle is not the end. It's the beginning of your preparation for greatness. So wake up, chase your dream, and don't ever stop until you get there. Because let me tell you something, success is waiting, but it's just not waiting for tomorrow. It's just waiting for the one who wakes up today and says, this is my time, this is my moment, and I'm just not gonna waste it. Thank you.